But like,
you dated a couple of bougie boys.
Yeah, last year, like real bougie,
really bougie.
Oh my god! And then I was there with my dirty Converse, like, let's have a good time, like. So.
Head with his hand, he was like, "Turn your head away. I don't want you to see this pretty girl."
Oh my goodness!
Like, "You're pretty. I shouldn't have to see this."
We take of ourselves, like, I think of my time on Hinge. Everyone who I attracted, I would not go near. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. Today I'm joined by Denise.
Hello.
Denise, tell the people who you are.
Hi everyone. My name is Denise. I am 25 years old. I'm from Essex/East London, and I'm one of Motsy's friends. That's my identity. I'm here as a friend. But work-wise, I currently work in HR, specifically in the learning and development space. But I like to think of myself as a creative at heart.
Mm-hmm. We love it. We love it. Today, me and Denise are going to discuss dating. Specifically, the episode is called The Tea with a D on dating. So I did a little bit of research before coming today and found out that a 2023 study by The Guardian found that dating apps are on the decline. Since 2021, Tinder has lost 5% of its users, and 90% of Gen Zs are not about the apps.
Thank God for that, honey.
They're not about the apps. What do you think of these stats? Why do you think this is like?
Because the apps are just getting worse. I think dating alone, I think we've strayed so far from what dating experiences should look like, and they are made so much worse with the apps. Just in terms of the people that you meet online. First of all, you have unserious people on the apps. You could be on there looking for a relationship, and all the people you're meeting are just people who are just trying to F and cut. And so I think people are not having good experiences on them, so they're like, do you know what, it's not even worth my time anymore. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I think we're the generation, well, our age of Gen Zs are the generation where we grew up with the internet and without it.
Yeah.
We grew up playing on the streets. We grew up like literally knocking on a neighbor's door and be like, come, let's go play outside. So like we know how to build relationships without technology. And I think we've seen that those relationships are way more fruitful than the ones on the apps. So I think that's why we're like, it's not working out. It's not working out.
But it's funny that you mentioned that. It's interesting because I think the Gen Zs who are younger than us, they obviously know very differently, and they didn't do all of the playing out and stuff like that. So actually, their default is just to use the apps and meet people online, which is a real shame.
It's really sad.
It is really sad.
I think it will end up leading to like a lot of disappointment as well, because like one thing about the apps, you're making your ideal life there, like everything's curated, and like this can affect esteem. Like, what do you think? If like
I agree. I feel like the coin. No, I know Delulu didn't derive from this, but I think Delulu and technology actually come hand in hand, especially with dating online. Like, why would you not be Delulu when you've seen a bunch of pictures, you've seen what music they like, it's the same as yours, they live somewhere that's close to you. Of course you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's my husband, like, let's lock it in.
Literally.
Whereas if you met them in real life, you would see all of that stuff on the surface straight away, and it would be a different experience. So yeah, I feel like it has contributed to how Delulu people can 100% be in dating as well.
And just like the pictures we take of ourselves, like I think of my time on Hinge. Everyone who I attracted, I would not go near.
That's another factor. I think the apps are doing these things on purpose. That's one of the reasons I left apps, because I was like, why are you guys showing me this roster? And the people that I was attracted to would be in my standouts that I had to pay for. Like, they just want your money. They don't care about giving you love.
Literally. And I like have this rule now we both have the no apps this year. We've said this year, no apps. But I'm also now like not exchanging socials with people until a certain stage of getting to know them.
Okay, through texting?
Okay. Yeah, because again, I think like once they see this curated life that I've made on Instagram, which is like, yes, it's my life to an extent, I think that can kind of like get in the way of like really getting to know somebody, you know?
I think so,
and then they may feel like, oh, because she goes there and does this, and it's difficult, but like I just think it's a better way to get to know someone more Identically.
I agree. And I feel like then you find once they have the socials and they're seeing this curated life, they begin to like the idea of you and not necessarily you. And so things are not working out with the dating. Their words and their actions are not matching up. They say they like you. It's the idea they like, but their actions are not matching up. And I feel like I've noticed that. Oh, well, I'm good at being able to notice that now. Someone will say they really like me, but I'm like, you like the idea of me because your actions are not matching up whatsoever.
Literally.
And so, yeah, I found it really interesting. I've dated a lot. Last year, I was in my serial dating bag because I just think it's an experience that everyone should have to go out and date loads of people. And I learned a lot from it. And so it's definitely helped me navigate the way I'm dating this year.
Indulge us. Give us some tea. Tell us your most interesting dating stories, and also like what you learned about yourself in this whole process of dating.
I feel like last year, a couple of things. Actually, let me start with my wildest and then I'll go into what I learned. So here's two people who I dated that I thought were quite wild. There was one person I went on a date with, and they were a different kind of person. I'd never dated this person in terms of their characteristics before, but because I was just in my dating bag, I was like, I'm going to be very open about the type of people I date so I can learn as much as I can. And I'd gone on a date with this person, and first of all, he was late. Really, I think it was like 30 to 40 minutes. I know. I should have left, girl. I should have left.
What was the excuse?
To be fair, I had left work a little bit early, but his excuse was that he was coming from far, and he hadn't chosen a place either. I know. He had chosen somewhere that didn't look very good, and I was like, I don't want to go there, so I'm going to choose somewhere else. So I chose somewhere else, and then we went there.
And he asked you?
He asked me on the date. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally. That's one thing I've learned. I don't date people who are not planning. Don't ask me on a date and not plan the date. What's that about? Ridiculous. So anyway, that was the first tick. And then he arrived, and it was fine. We were talking and stuff like that. And there are a lot of men, I feel like, who don't speak to their friends. They don't talk to their boys. And so he chatted my ear off the entire time. Like, he didn't learn anything about me in that 2 hours that we were together. He spoke about himself the entire time, telling about his values and beliefs. And then I soon learned that he was an Andrew Tate sympathizer. And he was just talking about all of these ideals that were so scary. And I remember feeling so embarrassed because there was two females sat next to us, and they were obviously hearing all of this. And the side-eye was side-eyeing, and I just thought, why am I here? Couldn't wait to get out of there. But yeah, he was just telling me how like men are not men anymore, and he started this fight club just so he could remind himself that he could fight, and that in any room he went into, he needed to know that he could take anyone in that room. And it was just all about power and all about toxic masculinity, and it was just so incredibly like, it was just scary and concerning. And I just remember sat there thinking, I can't wait to leave and for this person to never see me again. And then when we was on the way home, we was on the train, and someone had started fighting on the train, and he got my head, he turned my head with his hand, and he was like, turn your head away, I don't want you to see this pretty girl.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you're pretty, I shouldn't have to see this. I was thinking,
oh my goodness. I'm gonna actually piggyback off that.
Yeah.
That story. And where did you meet him? Which was it?
It was on Hinge.
Okay.
And he had been on my Instagram for 2 years. He'd been trying to take me out for 2 years. And I just left him on my Instagram, but because that was the year that I was dating, I was like, okay, I'll just give it a go.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done
that.
Shouldn't have done that.
To get some more stats to kind of amplify your story right there, I read another study, and it was saying that men swipe, I think like 40% of the time, swipe right. Women swipe like 15% of the time, but men get swiped 0.6% of the time. Like nobody's actually checking for them, whereas women 10% of the time, like we'll get our swipes back, you know? Yeah. And I was really thinking about these stats because I was like, whoa, like we're on the receiving end of these men's swipes being like, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you. But then they're on the other side not getting any likes, right? Yeah. And I was thinking, gosh, is like this also fueling like incel culture and like toxic masculinity? Because the level of frustration you must get if you're on these apps, like, and you don't get any likes, like that must be so painful, you know? And like some people pay for this as well to get like the hot girls and the hot boys, you know? So imagine you put in your hard-earned money and no one is swiping for you. That is gonna do something to you.
100%. And I can relate to that. I don't know if you ever had periods on Hinge where no one was liking you. I've had that. Like, if we put the ones aside who should not have been liking me in the first place, there have been times, and genuinely I've asked myself sometimes when I was like, am I ugly? What's going on? But the thing is, I know I'm not ugly, but the apps are making me feel like I was ugly.
100%.
So I think it plays a massive part in people's
100%.
self-esteem.
And I think with the date that you went on with this guy, like he clearly has nowhere to vent, you know, so he was just like, a dump. Like the date was just like him like dumping his whole life on you.
It was him getting home and saying, I had so much fun, like, so much fun, I really want to see you again, when can we do this again? Please, do what again? Just talk at me for 2 hours, no way. And they just don't realise. I don't know if it's they're not dating enough or they don't know what a dating experience should look like. So they come and kind of just do whatever and think that the other person has had a great time.
100%.
You know? And I'm very intentional, but like when they're like, I'm having such a good time with you, I'm like, oh, this is nice. I make sure I'm not saying like I'm having a good time, but I don't think people read into that as
100%.
well. But I guess it's just a case of awareness of human nature and stuff like that. People can't read into social cues and
It's
stuff.
back to the Delulu.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that men are a little bit more Delulu than us. Because you will say hi and he's like, she likes me.
You've gone home and in your head you feel like we are destined to be together. That's crazy. I didn't say anything.
Literally. I went on a date last year with this guy and he's probably gonna listen to this. Anyway, he was like quite wealthy and he wouldn't stop talking about how wealthy he was, which was so annoying. Like it's either they're telling me, oh my god, like I put some money aside to see you today. I'm like, oh my god, I feel so special. Like, or they just don't stop talking about how much money they have. It's like, shut up. Just, please don't talk about money on a date. But anyway.
It's classless.
No,
classless behaviour.
Literally. I'm not going to bait out where we went because it will give this person away too much. But took me to this nice area and he was like, see, if you stick with me, this is the life you can be living. And then after the date, again, he had a great time. And I was like, this was okay. Like, it was really all right. And then he was like, I just feel like we really connected, you know? And I was just thinking, it got me thinking, because I think me and you are really open people. Like, people really gravitate towards us, you know? After he said that to me, I was like, I want to observe your other dates. Like, I want to observe how these other interactions are. If you really think that this interaction was like, we went deep, you know? Because for me, it was just like, I was getting to know somebody very chill. I didn't really feel much for him, but I was like kind. I was just kind.
It's like we've had so many of those where we've debriefed after a date that we've gone on and we were like, it was okay. Like, it was meh. Like, that was literally it. It was like, yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. It was just like, okay. But then they just leave having had the most amazing time.
Literally.
But I feel like a big part of it probably is the energy that we do give out to people.
100%. And I really wonder like how other people's dating experiences are and if it's like really stiff and stuff. And like, I don't know if you know who Paul Seabrook is. You probably do. The guy, he's on Maths, the black guy on Maths.
No.
He's like a judge. He's not a judge, but an expert, a dating expert. So he's on Maths and Celebs Go Dating, and he was on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, and he was talking about how the reason why dating in this generation is really bad is because men don't debrief. Whereas like we go into intense debrief after the date. We're like, this is what happened, whatever. A guy would be like, oh, how was your date with that girl? Yeah, it was alright. And that's it.
They're probably just like, I smashed, I didn't smash.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that matter. And that's all they'll talk about.
Literally.
Don't talk about any of the other things.
And that's it. And he was basically saying that like healthy dates, both parties, if it's girl, boy, boy and girl, they need to debrief so that their friends can be like, okay, remember you said you weren't going to do this, or remember this person, you know. Whereas if there's no debrief, it's just like, it's dangerous for the other person because the other person's going into the second date. You've had your debrief with your girls or your boys, but then that person who's not debriefed is going in like, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing again. Like they've not been censored.
That makes so much sense. And when you link it to accountability and the growth that I think females have in their dating journeys, and men probably, their growth in dating goes at a much slower rate just because of that accountability that we can say to each other, okay, are you sure you want to date this person? This sounds a little bit like the last guy you dated that didn't go very well, and so on. So that's so interesting and it makes sense because we hold each other accountable.
100%.
We make sure that we're not making those same mistakes over and over again.
100%.
Men could never.
like, what is the future of dating? Like, what do you think? I refuse to think it's doomed and whatnot, but like, I think we need to all take healthier steps. And even like the book I'm giving you today, it's basically talking about how women in our generation, we're so liberal, we're enlightened, we're smart girls, we're so multifaceted, and then men in our generation are the most traditional they've been since the 50s.
Excuse me?
They said they want a housewife who's seen and not heard. And it's like the rise of the Andrew Tate and like all of these manosphere men, you know.
And it makes me really cautious just about the men I have in my life around me in general as well, even dating aside. Just friendships as well. Like there was someone I knew, and we were having a bit of a debate, and we debate quite a lot. And I think he was pulling apart people's Hinge profiles, and
no, that's a bad start.
Yeah, it's a bad start. And he was like, this girl said that she's quite traditional, and I guess when she said she was traditional, she was looking for a protector, a provider, a pursuer, right? That kind of traditional. And he was like, if she wants traditional, then why don't we bring the whole shebang back, and she should be seen and not heard? And I was like, I can't, like, why is that even something you would think of?
Literally.
Why would you even bring that up?
Literally.
You know, the fact that you feel like it's appropriate. It's okay for, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it's okay for a woman to want a traditional man in terms of a protector, provider, a pursuer, because there isn't forms of, I don't know, what's the opposite of misogyny? Is there an opposite? There can't be, because females don't do that shit. But you know what I mean? Like,
there is. I can't remember what it's called though. Misandry. I think it's misandry. Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like that isn't misandry. Whereas a male saying that a woman just needs to cook for me, she needs to be seen and not heard, that is misogyny. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So I feel like it's okay for a woman to exist in those preferences, but for you to even mention that is crazy.
Do you know what the main difference between those two?
What?
The man is saying, I don't want you to have rights, basically. Saying, I don't want you to have human rights. Literally. Yeah. And then a woman just saying, I want a traditional man is like, I just want to be pursued. I want to be taken care of. I want us to live the way God intended, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, so one is, no, go on.
I was going to say one thing that I did think about after this debate was over, because obviously it's not like he was letting out. We went back and forth, and I realised that preference that we have as women for a protector, provider and pursuer does put a lot of pressure on the man, especially if they're not in that place in their life.
100%.
I think it encourages men to want to play around, because they're like, I'm not ready to be the man that my wife would need, so I'm gonna just play around until I'm ready to do that. And that's the issue.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think then in that sense, like some conversations I've had with male friends, like one of my male friends, I was telling him, I was like, there's way more good girls than guys. And then he was like, no, it is actually 50-50. Like, there are good guys too. And he was kind of explaining how, like, for guys, especially in their early 20s, like, I'm going to say early 20s is, like, up to 26, right? 20, yeah. You're about to hit 30. Anyway, he was saying for, like, guys in their early 20s, relationships are so transactional because the girls are just expecting give, and not giving, like, to the guy. And I thought about it, and I was like, that is actually kind of true in like dating culture a little bit. It's like even the songs like Pasta and Lobster, like hey, the whole sprinkle culture. You know what I mean? It's like my whole existence pays for everything else that he'll do. You know, and like I get like being in your divine feminine energy, but like part of a relationship is give and take. You know, like. He might give you materially, but you need to give to him emotionally, you know? And so many of the girlies, I'm like, call you out, are only wanting to extract. Like, relationships are becoming, like, quite extractive, and it's really bad. And I totally agree with you that, like, there's a lot of pressure for guys to, like, you know, I think I'm so happy I'm a girl, because girls have fun. Like, we're just out here having a good time. Like, no pressure, whereas, like, guys, they have to think about money. Like, there's so much they have to think about before even attempting to pursue a girl, you know?
I didn't think about, I know this now, but I think before I didn't think about how much financially it costs for a man to be dating.
So like, expensive.
He's got to fork out the peas most of the time for these dates. And I remember one time I paid for the date and I was like, God damn.
It hurts.
I'm glad I don't have to do this for another 3 or 4 times.
Literally.
Yeah, it is a lot.
like,
bless them.
Me and my ex-boyfriend, we like, and in the beginning, he did not. I didn't pay for anything. I was in my princess bag. To be fair, the whole 2 years I was pretty much in my princess bag. But the few times I was like, I'll pay. Hey. Then pocket afterwards, I was like, I guess I'm eating beans. So like it's expensive, and they're so gracious in the sense that like they're not telling us what to order. We order whatever we want, you know. So when you take someone out, you have to extend that grace of order whatever you want, please.
But there are also some men out there who will protect their pockets.
Yeah,
and it reminds me of one of the dating experiences I had last year. And first of all, he had been mentioning money way too early and way too quickly. And I understand, but I just think there's got to be a certain level of, I don't know, what's like secrecy to it?
Just like decorum,
please. So he was originally, before we'd gone out on our first date, he was already saying, but you know me, I'm broke, like obviously I don't know, you know, trying to save money, all of this. And I'm like, okay, fair enough, like that's okay. And then he planned the first date because I'm not telling you about it until the day. And I don't like surprise dates. My future husband is listening. I don't like surprise dates. To a certain extent, I just need to know some details. I like being able to plan. I like knowing what I need to wear. Do I need to eat in advance and stuff like that? So it's the day of the date. He's still like, he's not telling me where we're going, but he's like, come to this station for this time. And that's really pissed me off, but I'm in my dating bag. So I'm like, just go with the flow and it's fine, it's okay. And so I go and I kind of assume that we're going to eat. And I get there and he tells me that we're going to a Sofa Sound show. And when I'm there and he's like, I ate at home, by the way. So if you want to eat, you should grab something. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. So then we just go to Shake Shack. I'm just going to grab like some fries. Do you remember this? Just going to grab a burger and some fries. And I had a really old phone at the time. And my Apple Pay was always acting up. So I'm trying to pay for my fries and burger and it's not working. And I say to him, sorry, can you grab this, please? Because my Apple Pay is not working. He said I left my wallet in the car, sorry.
As if he doesn't have Apple Pay in this 2023.
He was looking at me. I was looking at him. God. The cashier was looking at the both of us. And I was just like, kept trying my Apple Pay. Kept trying. I think after like 3 more times it worked. Then we stood in the queue waiting for my food. He was like, yeah, like I even went for breakfast this morning and I couldn't pay for my meal, so they made me wash dishes in the back. I don't know, trying to like corroborate his story, trying to really make it out like it's true. I'm thinking,
as if that actually happened.
Like, just shut your mouth. Honestly, just you didn't need to say anything extra. And then we went to Sofa Sounds and he didn't like ask if I wanted a drink or anything. Like,
do you know what, that date could have been okay. Like if a person's broke, like I don't think broke people can date. Like 100%. Everyone deserves love, right? 100%. But I'm gonna rewrite the story for that guy. What he should have done is, hey Denise, I want to take you to Sofa Sounds. Meet me at the station. Maybe grab something to eat before because there's no food there, right? We're not mentioning what's in his bank account or whatever, right? Right. You go, you enjoy, and you're like, oh, can I get you a drink? You tell him what you want, and then let's say he's like aware of he doesn't have much money, so he'll only buy you a drink, and then he could be like, oh, I'm just not drinking tonight, but like enjoy your drink. I'll just have juice or something. And
the chances are I would be like, no, let me get you a drink, and then I'd probably get him a drink.
Yeah, and then it's like a balance, and then you're just enjoying that person's company and money. As soon as you mention money, it just becomes uncomfortable, whether it's too much money, too little, not like it's just uncomfortable. So like he could have set that out so differently and it would have been such a different experience.
And we had gotten on so well before the date as well. Like we were getting on like a house on fire. Like we were texting, FaceTime. Like it was so good. And then it was all kind of just ruined. And I also think, you know, we mentioned about how when people have your social media, they create this idea of you. And I think he had he had this idea of me in his head that I was this like bougie girl. Do you feel like my feed gives bougie?
Ish. It gives like she likes nice things.
Yeah. My Insta gives that I like nice things, but I'm still incredibly humble.
Girl, like,
And so as we're talking, and we're talking about things and stuff like that, and he's just making all of these assumptions about me. I had said to him, oh, I'm doing swimming lessons at the moment. He was like, you're probably at some David Lloyd, isn't it? I said, no, I'm literally at my local leisure centre, like. And I could tell that he had created this idea of me in his head that he almost felt like he couldn't match up to. So I'm like, you've ruined all of it now because I'm not the person that you've created me inside your head.
Literally. Like somebody I met recently, and I told you about them, like I don't know where it's gonna go. But we've been like hanging out and like literally going for walks, just like simple cutie stuff, like nothing whatever. And then Instagram came up and I was like, oh god. And like at this point I had not shared my Instagram, whatever. And then he was like, oh, if you type in my name, you would see me on Instagram. And I was like, oh, I did see it. And he's like, well, that's not fair. Like, let me see yours. And I was like, no, Lord, please, no. Because I like, even now, I'm like, he definitely thinks different of me now that he's seen my Instagram.
What do
like,
you think he thinks?
I think he also thinks, okay, this girl likes nice things. Because my Instagram is mainly like my traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, obviously we've been going for walks, like it's so simple, like I'm not even wearing makeup, I would come out, let's go. You know, it was just like so simple, and like we're just doing wholesome stuff, like kind of games night. It was just like so wholesome, and I was really enjoying the pureness of how we're getting to know each other. And like now I'm so icked out when I see that he's like watched my story and stuff like that, because I'm like
what does he think?
Yeah, because we're human. We're gonna make assumptions, you know? And like, I don't want him to think that I don't want to hang out with him unless we're gonna go to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like,
you're so, but it's so interesting though, because I can't remember, I think this was a TikTok or I listened to it on a podcast somewhere, and it was saying about how we think that people are gonna think these things, and those things are just a projection from ourselves. So like, you're assuming that he's gonna think that you just want to go to these certain places, but actually he's just thinking, damn, Martha looks good today, she looks like she's having fun, and you know what I mean? And he's actually not thinking anything about what your expectations are from you and him dating. So I wonder how much of our perceptions around ourselves impact how we date and what we think they think.
The reason though I'm just saying about like the bougie-ish thing is because on Hinge, the people who I was getting matched with were like kind of bougie guys, and like you obviously know me, I'm like into like the hippies a lot, like I am like but like
you dated a couple of bougie boys
last year, like real bougie, like,
really bougie.
Oh my god. And then I was there with my dirty Converse, like let's have a good time, like so like ultimately I need something a bit in between.
It has to be in between, because you know what you just mentioned about how like you guys were hanging out, that is my favorite type of dating. It's so wholesome,
just like friendship.
Let's just go to the park, let's go to an exhibition. It doesn't have to be the bougie restaurants and the expensive restaurants. It's fine, like let's just go to one authentic restaurant on the street corner and just talk for hours. Literally.
So again, with the curation of like dating apps, because my Hinge, most of my pictures are my best pictures, and my best pictures are taken at nice places. Then it was like the skin fade and the wave sky. No, like, do you, honey? Like, I love it for you. I'm into my dreadlock Rastafarites, you know?
Have you seen that TikTok where the niggas with the dreads?
Literally, I have such a specific, like, I like a dirty, clean boy. Like, a little bit dirty, but a little bit clean.
I'm so good at spotting Motsy's type. We'll see him, I'll be like, that was your type, wasn't it? I see y'all.
Literally. So, but because on Hinge my pictures are like nice restaurant, then the people I don't want are the ones matching me, and then the ones I do, they're like, do you even like, would we vibe? And I'm like, we would, like, so bad. So I think as well, just to like come back full circle, I think that's why dating apps are like on the decline, because people are realizing that we're getting catfish left, right and center. You know, unintentionally sometimes, you know, like I've been personality catfished, and I think that's the worst type of catfish, to be honest, because we were texting, this was like literally 5 years ago in Australia, so I can talk about this story because I don't know this man.
Don't matter.
And me and him were vibing so hard. I met him, and you know, in the first 5 minutes of meeting someone, you just know something's off. This man was a weirdo.
Oh my god.
He was such a weirdo. We had a really cute date. We went on a picnic, and he had broken his leg, so then I really needed to pee, and his house was nearby, so he was like, I'll come to my house and pee. This man was South Asian and white, so he was like mixed race. Get to his house, his mum's there, and he's like, oh, you Motsi? And I was like, hi, yeah, why do you know my name?
What's going on?
This is my first date with your son, like, what's going on?
And
then his mum goes on a whole 20-minute speech about how she doesn't see colour, and I was like, okay. She was like, yeah, see, my husband is a brown man. Obviously, she doesn't talk like that. But like, she just went, it was so uncomfortable. Then I turned to the side and this guy's making out with his cat. And I was like,
Motzi.
Get me
Motzi. What do you mean?
As in, the whole day, when we were in the park, all he was talking about was his cats. All I was talking about was how much I hate cats, right? So when I needed to pee, I was bracing myself for this cat house, because he was like, yeah, we've got like 15 cats. And like, they had so many cats.
That's so scary.
And then his mom's going on, I don't see color, all this stuff. And then he's making out with his cat. I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
But online, the vibes were so high.
It's so sad.
So high.
It's so sad.
So high.
And I'm going to talk about Mr. Lawyer.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to talk about Mr. Lawyer because it was different, but similar in terms of like the things that I saw online and how it was. Well, actually, texting wasn't that great, to be fair, but just in terms of the profile that I had seen, like, this man was everything I wanted and more on paper. He was from Ghana. He was over 6 feet. I'm giving away too much, I think.
No, you're not. There's so many 6 foot Ghanaian.
Yeah. He was a lawyer. He lived kind of close to me.
Now you're telling me details, girl.
But we don't have each other on socials anymore, so it's okay.
Yeah.
He was just everything. Just everything. And so I was like, okay, I like this guy. We met up and we just went for a really casual walk. And we vibed so much in person. This was our first link up. We vibed so much. We just spoke for like 3 hours in a coffee shop, went for a walk, so nice. And what he had said to me as well, this is key actually, because actually this is less to do with the apps, but more to do with words and actions. Because from everything he had said to me on the first day, I felt like we were on the same vibe, we were looking for the same things. I felt like he had the same level of emotional intelligence as me. And then so I've obviously left the state feeling like, oh my god, love it. I'm excited to get to know him. Like, I told him how I was dating intentionally. So like, I'm only dating one person. I'm getting to know you because I want to know if I want to be in a relationship with you. And he's like, yep, I'm the same. Like, I'm so ready to settle down. And there were a couple of red flags. Like, he was saying, by the way, like, I need to warn you that because I'm a lawyer, you should know that it's really hard dating a lawyer. I just need to warn you and stuff like that. But I didn't like that because obviously later on when he was giving me slow replies and stuff like that and he was just unavailable and his justification was that, sorry, I'm a lawyer, I'm just so busy. And it's like he had used that justification from the beginning almost to give me a warning that I am gonna have really shitty behaviour, but it's gonna be okay because I'm a lawyer and I've told you. But that behaviour doesn't cut it. No one's too busy. No one is too busy. Don't you believe it? No one is too busy.
Literally no one. When you're sat on the toilet, text me. If it's only the toilet that you get a minute, text me.
Yeah.
Before the beat drops, text, like,
100%.
come on.
I'm so sick of people just making excuses for why
Literally.
they're terrible communicators. It's not good enough. And this is not even in dating. I think it's in friendships
Yeah,
as well.
100%.
Like, you're leaving your friends on red for a week. So sorry, you know my replies are so bad. Not good enough.
Literally.
It's not good enough. Tell someone, hey, I'm going to be so busy today. Catch up with you another time.
Literally.
But anyway, it was just that the profile that he had on the app that we were talking on and who he was in person was so different, and it was such a shame because I had really invested in that. But like, wasn't I literally so invested?
You were.
And he was the first person I dated since my traumatizing dating experience as well. So I was so like, I'm excited about this. He seems like a good guy, and then he just wasn't.
How was the profile misleading?
The profile was misleading because he said that he was serious about settling down, like he was looking to settle down. To be fair, that was the only thing that was misleading.
And to be fair, he did that intentionally because he wanted the serious girls. He wanted a girl who's gonna like stick beside him and wait until, you know, he's finished doing his work. Similar to, remember when we were at Jazz and then that guy I was seeing text me, he was like, oh, come see me before I go on holiday, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that now.
This man, I leave a fun time with my friends. We had a great time.
I'm having fun.
And then I was like, okay guys, I'm gonna go, like he's gonna go on holiday, I'm not gonna see him for a while. Finance bro, by the way. Never doing that again.
No, it was good, Dad.
Get to his house, he opens the door, he runs, and I'm like, oh my god, he's cooking for me, like the food's burning, like gassed. No, He's running back to his desk because, I don't know, someone's gonna pop off. At this point, guys, it's like 9, 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
I sit on the couch. I don't even get a water, guys. I don't get anything.
Tiffany style.
Literally, I'm sat.
Yeah.
I'm sat. And then he is like hunchbacked over his 4 monitors, typing away. And I'm just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And he was, I'll be done in like 10 minutes. And I was like, I told you when I was gonna be finished, Jazz, and you said you'd be done. So why are you not done? Why am I sat, right? Can I get anything? Yeah, can I please have some water? Okay, 5 minutes. Didn't get water. I got up, went to the toilet, ordered an Uber, came back, sat down, I was like, my Uber's here in 5 minutes, I'm going. He was like, oh no. And I said, you have got to look at me, I'm about to leave.
Yeah.
Stop typing for 2 seconds and acknowledge me. Oh no, I promise I'm gonna be done. Got the Uber, like, I spent 20 quid getting an Uber from where I got an Uber to this place where this person lives and back. And then I was so fuming. I texted him and I was just like, why would you waste my time? Like, I get your time is money, but mine is too, you know? And then he was like, oh, like, in all honesty, I ended up finishing at 3 a.m. So I was like, so you really thought I was gonna sit until 3 a.m. in the morning for you to give me some attention and speak to me, and you've lost your mind.
People selling their souls for their jobs, but that's another conversation.
Literally, you've lost your mind. And again, people like that are like, yeah, well, to be fair, he wasn't saying he was looking for anything serious, but like, with the work demons, they have to lie and tell us we're looking for something serious, or else who's gonna actually, well, people do put up for it, don't put up for that, but like, people do, and they just hope that, oh, I really hope I really like her, let's just hope she puts up with like 48-hour replies and, you know, seeing me once a month, you know?
And for me, it was like it's the up and downs. It was the words in which they were like, no, I really do like you. I really do want to get to know you. And then it was the 10-hour response straight afterwards. It's like, it's not making sense. and this particular guy that I mentioned, when I was ready that I wanted to end it, this was the day that he had cancelled on me. This one was when he cancelled on me because he wanted to spend the day with his mum. With his mum. Okay. Oh, no. Actually, we had 2 things. So we were supposed to meet up and he had football in the morning and then we were supposed to meet up after football. And I had put a time for us to meet. He was like, oh, do you mind if we meet later? Because like, I want to go to the pub with the boys after. I was like, you should lift your boys then. You see your boys for football every weekend. I've not seen you in 2 weeks. Excuse me. And then he was like, oh, my mum's in town, so like, can we go? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And he was all trying to make it up to me. He was like, I've showed my mum a picture of you and she really likes you. And I'm just like, is it crack? Which crack, heroin, which one is it? Your actions are not that of someone who is serious.
Literally.
So why are you telling your mother about me?
Literally. Scary.
The assumption that I would even stick around for this behaviour as well. You've told your mum because you think that I'm going to stick around for this kind of behaviour.
Literally.
It's crazy to
Literally.
me. It's crazy
and not like to, we need to wrap it up soon, but like, not to go down another rabbit hole, but I do think guys like that, sometimes their mums have enabled this behaviour because they probably saw their mums sticking through thick and thin with their dad and all of this behaviour. So then they think that's exactly what a woman does. Like, they just stick through. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, they're gonna be there, you know?
100%.
Whereas like, I've grown up in a matriarchy. It was my grandma and my mom, and like, that's actually impacted how I respect men, which I'm working on. But like, I want to be equally as respected as I respect you, because there's no reason why I shouldn't be, you know? And I'm not gonna just like wait, you know? And I think that's like, to kind of like wrap up, I think for our generation to like date properly and date healthily, we need to expect the same things from one another. So like, girls included, like, we can't just be extracting men, right? We need to, that needs to stop. Like, sprinkle to an extent, but you also need to be contributing to something, right?
Yeah.
Secondly,
Just to jump in, I do think that comes when a man does take his role of the provider, the pursuer, the protector. A woman will naturally start giving. It's in her nature to
Literally,
do that.
yeah.
So I think once the man takes his role, the woman will fall.
Literally.
Usually it's that the man is giving, maybe he's giving materialistically, but he's not giving much else. He's not being a protector, he's not being a provider. And maybe that's why she can't emotionally tap in. But I think when the man does do that, she will naturally.
100%.
Yeah.
Secondly, let's stop, like, yes, we need to make money and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're put on this earth to love, procreate, and just breathe love in everything that we do. So, like, this generation just being like, but the grind. Like, the amount of excuses that you're gonna hear, it's like, I'm sorry, I need to focus on my music, my work, You can do both.
You're always gonna have something that you need to focus on.
You can do
Right. And if you're busy, tell the person you're busy, darling.
Literally.
10-hour responses do not cut it.
Literally. Just like good communication.
Yeah.
Juggling stuff, because we're now adults and we're not kids and you just go to primary school and take a nap when you're done. You're able to do multiple things at once.
Yeah.
What else do you think is like solutions for this hope? No, I'm joking.
I guess we're talking about the apps. If you feel like you have to, I mean, I am heavily against it. If you really feel like you have to put some rules and boundaries in place. Okay? Like, after you match with this person, give them a week to ask you out so you can see each other in person. If they don't do that, move on, honey. They're saying we ain't pen pals over here. Like, the plan is not supposed to be that you're just online the whole time. So if you are gonna date, just make sure you're very intentional about making that in real life as soon as possible.
100%. I think we need to stop the 6-month talking stages. It's completely ridiculous.
3 months.
3-month
rule.
3 months and you're out.
And when you are in that 3-month rule as well, it's surprising how much more insight you get.
100%.
When I'm like going with the flow, it's like it takes 5 months for things to click in. When I'm like, I know I've got 3 months to make this decision, I'm able to, I don't know what the word is, but I'm just more vigilant.
100%. Because it's all about intentionality.
Yeah.
The more intentional you are and the better communication you are about your intentions, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Then the better you will be at dating, boys and girls. Everyone just needs to be intentional, communicate that intention, and then we can actually date the people we should be dating and not a serious person dating I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, no, we're both on the same level, let's do this thing, you know?
100%.
It's not hopeless, and yes, the apps are dying and let them die. I don't really care for them.
Yeah.
But we just all need to be a lot more intentional because
just stop lying.
it's a joke.
Stop lying to people. Like, do you know what? Stop lying to yourself. Be honest with yourself about what going with the flow means. I think that's a good place to start because too much of our generation are going with the flow. What do you mean by that?
Literally.
Are you scared of commitment? Are you financially like struggling at them? What does that mean?
Literally.
When you're honest with yourself, I think it's easier for you to be honest with other people.
100%. Guys, we're gonna wrap it up.
We could go on.
We could literally talk about this for days. But no, this has been a really good conversation, and we're also gonna take our own advice when we're dating. Currently, I'm on the sub bench. I'm nervous. I'm scared. But I'll get back out there. I just need everybody else to be ready. But summer's coming, so you know it's gonna be a lot better. But Denise, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me. I've had so much fun.
Good. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and share. Tell us what you thought. And yeah, see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, I love it.
And that's a wrap.